If you are familiar with my channel or you've watched my other videos, you know that I am a therapist. I am a mental health therapist, and I talk about a lot of things that I work with my clients, and I also talk about how these things apply to me and how I work through them. Sometimes I talk about what I'm doing or where I am. Like right now I'm working from Nicaragua, so I'll talk about that, or I'll talk about, how things impact me or how I work through things and that kind of thing. So I am a therapist, but I am also real and I am authentic, and I kind of share some of my struggles and my pain and that kind of thing. And that has been a progression over time. Don't mind the hammers in the background. It's all part of the ambiance. So this has been something that I've been working on over time, and I still have a long ways to go and a lot of goals with showing up more authentically. And I've noticed something really interesting lately. So I have started coaching a few therapists and a few kind of people in helping professions. And one of the themes that keeps coming up is how to be authentic and real, especially on social media, while still maintaining boundaries and our sense of kind of self and security. Now, this is interesting to me because I went through this like crazy, and it still comes up for me. But especially in therapy, we are taught to sort of just be the support for the client and really not share anything about ourselves. Now, obviously, you have to have a connection with a human. They have to know that you're there, but that's taught more in reflecting feelings, or, when you say this, it made me feel this, and that kind of thing. And that is so valid. And a therapy session should never, ever, ever be about the therapist, nor should it be a place where the therapist processes anything, because that's not the space to do that. So I'm not advocating for that in any way. But it starts to get interesting when we shoot videos like this, and when we decide to be more real and show you our vulnerable pieces, because that's never going to work if we're holding too many boundaries and not showing you who we are, right? That wouldn't be interesting at all, and you wouldn't get to know us and you wouldn't get to know me. But it's a real struggle, because everything that we have been taught, at least in school and in a lot of jobs, is not to show any of those things and to be very, kind of hyper vigilant about those boundaries and really uphold them. So how do we decide when it's okay to lean in and when we should hold those boundaries? Now, I think this should be very individual, obviously, and it should be something that you figure out for yourself, which is what I've been helping a few of these therapists do, is to figure out how much they want to show, what pieces are they're comfortable leaning into, and what pieces they're not ready to lean into or never maybe want to lean into. So that's a really individual thing. But when we look at it, I kind of think, why am I holding that boundary? Like, what is there? What is behind that for me wanting to hold that? And sometimes it's valid and sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's like, for example, the first time I wore a tank top on a video, I was like, oh man, can I do this? I don't know if I can do this. And I was having all of this stuff come up, which isn't even me. Like, I don't think twice about wearing tank tops in real life, right? But not only did I come from a very conservative upbringing, so I was raised Mormon, where, you especially when you're older and married, you have you always have short sleeves on, let's just say that. You never wear tank tops. So that's not a thing. I've also worked in a lot of jobs where the dress code, you weren't allowed to wear tank tops, especially never a spaghetti strap. Like, oh, how could you do that, So that came up for me, even though that isn't me. I don't believe that. And I also believe that we should be able to show up how we want to. And I think that me wearing what I choose to wear and what I feel comfortable in should never negate how well I can talk about something, how well educated I am about something. That shouldn't be what matters, right? But for women, it often becomes about that. They're judged on their clothes, they're judged on a lot of that kind of external stuff, and they're taught to worry about it more and try to manage it more. But managing it is trying to manage how other people view us and worrying more about that instead of just showing up authentically in what we feel comfortable in and what we want to wear. And that is what should be important. So that's what I try to help everyone focus back to, therapist or not. How do you feel comfortable? And how can we show more of that? Because how you feel most comfortable is what you should be showing and where you should be spending more of your time, right? So that's kind of my little example with that, which is perfect because that's what I'm wearing today. But I literally struggled with this, and I do my best to spend most of my time in tropical climates like this. So I remember fighting with it and just being so hot. And I was like, I can't continue to wear sleeves like this in this heat. Like, I will die. I'm just gonna have to lean in and do it. And if there's backlash, then oh well. But there was not backlash, okay? And even if there was, those aren't my people, right? Those aren't my people. And that's not the audience that I'm trying to connect with. I am trying to connect with people who get it, who want to show up more authentically, who want to work through their stuff, who want to keep working on this and keep connecting with ourselves and loving ourselves more and more and more, and figuring out how to spread that love and love others, right? And work through our stuff and help others do the same. So this is something that I'm bringing up now, and I want to keep talking about it. I want to keep talking about it with you guys. I want to keep talking about it with other kind of helping people and helping people in helping professions. I want to kind of keep processing it. I want to keep kind of talking through some of my stuff with showing up more authentically. And I want to just support each other in doing this because we cannot do it alone, and it is not easy. So I hope this is the beginning of a lot of talks and a lot of discussions on this. Please ask questions if you have any on these topics or anything you want me to cover. You can always submit those anonymously on my website, so please do that. And let's keep working on this together.